Hey, John Gindick here, and I thought that this morning I would take a few moments to make a brief video lesson covering what I consider to be the 4 basics of bluesy style improvisational harmonica. Okay, now I do have a C harmonica here. And the first one of these basics that I want to teach about, well, the whole acronym is BEAT. B, which will be breath, E, which is embouchure, A, which is articulation, and T, timing or phrasing. It could be beep if you wanted. So let me cover these quickly. First thing I want to talk about is your breath. And so often when people are starting to play harmonica, they breathe like this, and they're done. And you can tell you're doing that if your head goes up, if your shoulders go up, if you run out of breath after 5 seconds. This is just, it's just debilitating, and a lot of it has to do with, it's not the way you breathe normally, it's the way you breathe when you put that harmonica in your mouth and try and do something you don't know how to do yet. And so if you could just get back to, like, I'm going to focus on this one thing. Inhale and outhale. Or exhale, inhale and out. And so if you can get a single note, and we'll cover that in a moment on your 2 draw, which is your tonic note for second position, so you can get that single note and inhale for 10 seconds, exhale for 10 seconds, so maybe if only 5 seconds, you just make it longer and longer as you fill up more. Now here I am on the 2 draw, and I'll breathe in correctly. Look familiar? Okay, the paradigm is completely different. What you want to do is fill up your body with air. So you go. Now I hope that you can hear the resonance because I'm hollowing out inside with my breath. And what I'm doing is this little trick using the K consonant. Do it for both tongue blocking and lip blocking, but it hollows you out. If you go, you can just imagine this ring back here as your throat expands. If every time you inhale, or many times when you inhale, you keep this K consonant, it channels the air. Now, if I were just to take this harmonica and play it with no resonance, but when I hollow out and put the harmonica all the way back in the corners of my lips, you're getting this resonance that involves a whole hollowed out throat. So for your breath, learn to breathe in and out, and to stop this habit. This might mean you need to stop playing, you need to take the harmonica out of your mouth and focus on your breath and how you're breathing. In and out. Fill up your stomach before you fill this up. If you fill this up, wrong-o. Much more like talking, just normal life. You inhale and you fill up down below, and then you, and after that's filled up, well, it would be good not to run out of breath, but if you need to, then you start coming up here. But you should never run out of breath. It only takes a moment. Just hear that quick? It's just a beat, and you should cultivate that. And one way to do it is to get your single note on 2 draw, and then quickly exhale and return to the inhale again. So you see, I'm just, and I'm practically empty. So unless you're really nervous, you won't run out of breath if you're breathing correctly. Now the embouchure is the next question. A lot of people advocate tongue blocking, like just learn to tongue block. It's the only way to play. Yeah, if you want to sound like them. I don't know. I think that whole tongue blocking sound and this stuff think it sounds archaic myself, and I prefer what I do. I've been playing for 100 years, as you understand, but I prefer my tone and my flexibility and everything about mostly lip blocking. And that's what I like. And I've never heard no one has ever heard my music and come up to me and said, John, if only you were doing more tongue blocking. As people respond to the sound of the music, not the technique. But you'll hear guys over and over, oh, you've got a tongue block and so forth. Well, yeah, if you want to play old-timey stuff that sounds like them. And that's my attitude about it. And so I recommend a really deep embouchure, whether tongue blocking or lip blocking. And if you see now, right now I'm lip blocking, and I don't say puckering, because puckering conveys this idea of, which is the enemy. And maybe one reason that lip blocking gets a bad rep, because I'm all the way back here in the corners of my lips. The harmonica is tilted up a little bit, and a little bit of upper pressure on this upper part, at least as a learning platform, because of the habit of going and the stiff lip. So you can push up, make sure that this upper lip here is kind of perpendicular, just resting. You hear this? I'm using the K consonant, and it's like glub, glub, glub. It's almost like drinking water, playing, getting the air in my throat and working my larynx. That's the 2 draw on the C harp. All right, now I'm going to do the same thing by tongue blocking and putting my tongue on hole number 1 and letting number 2 ring out. Puckering. Tongue blocking. In both cases, I'm using the swallowing motion in order to give these little scoops to the note and to get it down here where the resonance is. Now the tongue blocking does have this advantage of I can lift my tongue off hole number 1 and bring it back on. And that really is very, very cool, especially if you're playing solo harmonica. But I already said what I feel about it as an overall approach. I much prefer. To me, that's just really good. That's as good as it gets. So, and that's lip blocking. Now I'll do it tongue blocking. That's pretty good too. So either way, I think it's a good way to go. And if you're good at one but not the other, learn the other. If you're good at tongue blocking, learn the advantages of lip blocking. And if you're good at lip blocking, add that tongue blocking. But don't let anyone tell you that you'll never be any good if you don't go do it their way. It's just, I gotta say that because there's just so much stuff out there on YouTube. Okay, so we've covered the embouchure, which is tongue blocking or lip blocking, single note, good and rich, in your throat, all the way back. If you're like going like this to get your single note, pinching your lips, a lot of people do that, do it for years, and they don't have that much fun, and they don't get better. The throat, you want the reed inside the harp and the open throat, the larynx, to be as physically close as possible. Physically close. So, open it up, for the dentist. And initiate that note with the K consonant, at least as a learning platform. If you don't, it's like this. Or it might be like that. You want. And again, look at that upper lip. Go straight out. Now, articulation is the act of breaking on this beat thing, B-E-A-T. Articulation now is that's how you start and stop the notes. If I have bad articulation when I'm talking to you, I talk to you like this, and I just kind of loosen. But when I have good articulation, each word is fairly naturally but completely formed, and you can distinguish one note or one word from another. So again, I recommend using the K consonant, not for all your articulation. You also use the T, the ta-ta, but to open up your throat and to get your bends. Now, I really recommend playing the harmonica without the harmonica. Just play your air and work on your air, because the sound that comes out of the harmonica is a direct reflection of your air. So if you have harsh type of air or too much, way too much, it's a common problem, just cut your volume of air in half. Giving your air some headroom. If you can imagine a pipe of water and this pipe is just completely filled to the brim as the water is rushing through it. The pipe can only take 100 pounds per square inch of water, and you've got 99.99 in there just rushing through. So it's this sort of thing. No, won't work. Instead, get that good single note. Now bring about half. Make that pipe of water at about 50%, so it's got headroom, so you can get a little louder and a little softer. And that's where you find your vibrato. Vibrato is your volume going up and down in kind of a natural way. And when you're just flat out straight volume, you can't make it go up and down. So you need headroom. So check yourself. Are you going or like this? You want that feeling of resonance and ease, almost as though you were pulling the note from the back of your throat. Now this articulation thing will also help lead you into bending. And on two draw, well, there's three possible notes, but you really, at this stage of the game, you only need to worry about two of them. Getting the note unbent, and then getting a good solid two draw bend, like this. Here's unbend, two draw. And then if I bend it by going, so I use what I call the kiku method, the vowel sound E. It kind of directs the air up into your forehead, particularly if you think it up there. And oo or ku breaks that air down here. So if you go or ki, ku, ki, I get this bend. A lot of people go, hey John, I can bend. Okay, yeah, you can make it sound like a cow or something, but you want to learn to play it as a separate note. It's a black note on the piano. It's a blue note, that two draw bend. Ki, ki, ku, ku, ki, ki, ku, ku, ki, ki, ku, ku, ki. So you want to start taking that approach to your single notes. So you're playing from your throat, and then by swallowing, you can make that note go glub, 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 and by using the kiku method, you can actually change the pitch for the bend. Now three draw, the bend you want there to get first is what we call the half step bend, or the blue third. If I go from two draw, which is my tonic note, my number one note in the second position, and I go to three draw, and I don't bend that three draw just a little bit, then it sounds like this, not bluesy. And you can be playing a riff and that is just like a sore thumb sticking out. But if you learn to play your 3 draw, so it's a little bit flat, and to do this, give it a little so now if you try to get this bend, you go like this, you might get some weird variation of it, but you're not getting the good, pure musical tone. And even me at this stage, I will stop and open my mouth more, work on this, get the... There's the slightest little change in your embouchure and in your tightness around here. If you're tight, if your mouth is closed up, no, it won't work for you. You've got to, like, just like talking, you got to just be open and relaxed. And this can really necessitate some review. How do you normally hold your jaw? What are you doing right now? Just, remember those old relaxation exercises? You can feel your face relaxing. It's relaxing more. And that's what you might need to do with yourself, is just feel how tight you are when you start to play this single note. Just relax, make it more like talking. Okay, so the last thing I want to talk about, probably the last thing I want to talk about here, is the phrasing or the timing of it, and it's having a sense of rhythm. I really recommend, do I have it here? Yeah, I really recommend that you guys get this little app. I've grabbed my phone here, and this is so much better than a metronome. It's a program called Drum Beats. I think you can see it there on my phone, and it's $5. Yeah, every time they sell one, they send me all the money. No, they don't know me. I don't know them, except that this app is really useful. And this is just a part of it. They send you, for the $5, they send you so many different drum patterns. And what we want for the bluesy feeling is shuffle. Here I've got it on a fast rock shuffle. And I can adjust the volume and the tempo. So I'll press it here, down here to get it going. Now, I recommend just having this thing on while you're doing other stuff and just get that beat going. Say you're in the car, you're driving to someplace. Just give yourself a beat and get it into your body. Now, you can change the tempo very easily right here on the bottom of it. And I've got it right now set for 90. And you should move it around. Then I also have it on fast rock shuffle, whatever that is. That's just some name that they gave it. And so now to start relating to this thing, it's a really good idea to you put it into a sense of 1, 2, 3, 4, a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4. And here how that little pre-beat helps. A 1, a 2. Try and figure out, get the 1 beat. So you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3. Now, here the way the harp might go in. It's just in your imagination, maybe. Do 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 do. Do, 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 do. You hear the silence in there? That's part of it. Do, 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 do. So go to the harp and you're working on your 2 draw and your articulation. Oh yeah, feels so good playing my harp to a beat. Yeah. Okay, so I really recommend getting a program like that and just keeping it on and internalizing that rhythm so it becomes something you don't even think about. To be a musician, to be a harmonica player, you got to be a creature of rhythm. You got to be someone who can generate a beat. You got to be a groovy person to get a groove going. And so that will just that should really help to work with that. Now, another little formula that's so common and so important when you play harmonica and the way you phrase. And if you do the question and answer format, ba, 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 pause, ba, ba, that sort of thing where you do two phrases, the second one answers the first, then you're going to really be creating nice music just to a beat, and it's not even worrying about the chord progression or anything. You can just be going question, answer. So ba da 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 da, answer, ba ba ba, and then another question and answer, ba da 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 da, ba. So the whole thing is these phrases that relate to each other. If you do the same phrase over and over and over, kind of boring. It's not musical. But if you change one of the phrases, so you've got this question and answer dynamic going on, question sets up tension in terms of your rhythm or however you're doing it, answer resolves it. So question and answer, or so the first one has this number of syllables. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The answer, after a pause, has this number of syllables. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so it creates that dynamic. And I think that if you start listening for that question and answer dynamic in the music that you love and in the riffs, then it will come naturally. Well, semi-naturally. You really want to learn this stuff naturally from the inside out. When you're playing, you want it to be like when you're talking, that you're informed, you know what you're talking about, but you don't necessarily know what you're going to say next. But you proceed with caution within the lane that you're aware of, and then you throw stuff in. All right, so to review, what we did was the acronym of BEAT. Breath, don't breathe like this. Okay, embouchure, deep inside, don't feel guilty for not tongue blocking, okay? Don't get into that emotion. Get the best tone you can get, the best way you can get it, and over time expand to the one that you're not doing yet, because both have great advantages. Deep inside, all the way back, hollowed out, resonant throat. Right, that's embouchure. This lip cannot be down like this. Okay, so breath, embouchure, articulation. I use that K consonant to get that good tone and to channel things out and have a feeling that you're playing down here, not in here. Now the other articulation method is using the T, or the, and that's really quick and fast. And it is a good one, but it's best if you're using it and you're playing from the throat. And so that K consonant helps you play from the throat. You got the air down there. There's no reason why you can't shift if you want to between K and ta. Okay, so articulation. And lastly, the timing, the beat. Get that cool drum beat program, arrange things in question and answer format. And I think you'll be bluesing it if you do. So this is going to be a short lesson, but I just see it's gone forever. Oh yeah. All right, see you next time. Thanks for listening and playing along.